Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Riz. Stay locked in. Braza Bank completed $1 billion of stablecoin payments for their customers using BBRL on the XRP ledger in Q3. Have line of sight to a euro-denominated stablecoin doing similar numbers pretty soon. Narratives come and go. We are solving real-world problems for financial institutions. You know, stablecoins are popping up one after another. But what stablecoins all need is a bridge. XRP will always be that bridge. Ripple, James Selleck, is a Faster Payments Council member. Now think about this. Why would Ripple send someone and have them at the Faster Payments Council if XRP and RippleNet wasn't going to be utilized in the United States? It wouldn't make any sense. That's how you know RippleNet and XRP is the future. And a lot of people are talking about BlackRock launching a spot XRP ETF. That narrative just will not disappear. That's what everybody's worried about right now. And Moon J says, can anyone say NDA? Take a listen to Larry Fink here.
ETF. How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right.
He can't talk about Ripple or XRP. And there's no way that BlackRock is going to miss out on this opportunity. Remember, for Bitcoin, there were 3 ETFs, Ethereum 1, and XRP has 19. This is the difference between utility and speculation. These ETFs will bring billions in net inflow for XRP, 2 digits loading. You know, when you see the demand for XRP, there's no way BlackRock misses out on this. It's just not going to happen. They are going to capitalize on this. And whatever BlackRock says right now, you could just dismiss whatever Larry Fink's talking about, because we've seen how he talked about Bitcoin years ago. Then all of a sudden, Bitcoin's the greatest thing ever because BlackRock figured out how to make money off of it. Right now, they're switching over to Ethereum. After they drain that well, they'll move on to XRP, and that will signal go time. Do you agree we are in a 10-year bull run? Take a listen to Tom Lee here.
Are we very early in a new bull market? But we've obviously had an extended bull market already.
Yeah, I think that's what confuses folks, because I would say generally we've been up since 2020, but we've had 20% declines since. So in fact, this has been a really disrupted recovery since the 2020 lows. So I think we are in a new bull market because we just had another essentially wipeout that happened February to April this year. I do think that the bigger story arc is that there is a big surge in U.S. prime age workforce. That's the millennials and Gen Z. Plus, they're inheriting a lot of wealth over the next 20 years, which is going to be transformed into more equity exposure, less credit. And the third is that the U.S. is at the center of a lot of the major structural changes taking place, AI and now blockchain. But those are going to really boost financial sector, which could re-rate to like 40% of the S&P. And then, of course, healthcare could benefit. So I think there's a lot to be excited about. And 2035 sounds about right. That would be a 10-year bull run from here.
Now, what he cited was the greatest wealth transfer, which everybody is talking about right now. And he cited a few other things as well. But is it going to be a 10-year bull run? I'm not seeing it. I think we could go into a utility run. That would be a game changer because nobody's ever seen a utility run before. Nobody knows how high the prices can go on these utility-driven cryptocurrencies. But the difference is they actually have a use case. Now, Tom Lee, he's an Ethereum guy. And a lot of people think Ethereum will be gone within the next 10 years. And I think most people will already be rich and retired within the next 10 years that are invested in crypto right now. But I do believe that we will see the 4-year cycle end. I think this will be Bitcoin's last major push up. It's already on the road to irrelevance because it's propped up by fake tether. Everybody now going forward is going to want real value. They want to see their cryptocurrency actually solve a real world problem. And regulations are going to strengthen that narrative because they're going to classify cryptocurrencies. They're going to say, okay, XRP, XLM, XDC, they're all utility-driven cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is a speculative asset. Ethereum, I believe, will go most likely into the next 5 years, but it will end up on the road to irrelevance as well. Because Ethereum's way too expensive. It's like data technology. They either got to make major upgrades to Ethereum to keep it around over the coming years. Because with the rise of AI and the rise of these utility-driven cryptocurrencies, where does that really leave Ethereum? And Solana, with the network down all the time, how does that make it into the future as well? I think a handful of cryptocurrencies are going to dominate the top 10. And it's not going to be Ethereum. It's not going to be Solana anymore. And it's definitely not going to be Bitcoin anymore. We're going to see that shift happen as XRP investors. And this is why right here. Ripple plans to replace the entire $155 trillion remittance system. Take a listen to Navin Gupta here.
How do you think, what is the next move, on Ripple's roadmap, in your opinion? To put you on the spot here.
No, it's very simple. So I think one thing, if there is one message that you can get in this room is Ripple is not an ordinary company. We are not here to have a small market share or do X, do Y, and make small amount of money or something to happen. We are here to make a dent in the universe. Either we will change the remittance universe, the way you understand, the way value gets transferred across the world, between people, between institutions, or we will just fade away. So it's almost 0 or 1, and some of it comes from our Silicon Valley arrogance. Some of it comes from, that's the reason 6 years ago we were born with a mission of moving money like information moves today, right? And we are making it possible working with the existing ecosystem. So I think this is a key differentiator about Ripple, and that's the reason we are a monoline company. Every day we get tens of ideas to say, why don't you do security settlement? Why don't you work in trade finance? Why don't you do X, Y, Z? And what we tell them is, just cross-border remittances is $155 trillion problem. We'll solve this first. We'll make a difference to everybody who's present in this room. And once we have made the difference, then only we will look at something else. So we are like, Google is for search, Ripple is for remittances. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it right, and we will not rest till we earn your respect and your business.
And that's Navin Gupta. He's no longer at Ripple. But they were on that mission early on. And since then, Ripple has shifted a little bit. They never lost sight of the remittance system. They never lost sight of not unlocking Nostro Vostro. But then Ripple became an all-in-one solution because now they have custody as well. And they also want to go very big with tokenization because the XRP ledger was built for tokenization. So fast forward, take a listen to this and how the XRP ledger has been battle tested.
I also wanted to ask on the front of the plethora of new blockchains launching. I think that's a short way to put it. How do you kind of see XRPL differentiating itself from kind of the pack and all of these different ones that are coming in and out and everything in between?
Yeah. Honestly, I've been excited by the news of a number of different L1s purpose-built, for payments and institutional finance. I think, XRPL was arguably the first blockchain purpose-built for payments over a decade ago, as I mentioned, and seeing others come on the scene is only validating of, hey, we're all working on the right use cases. We're all in it together in terms of this industry, and creating an opportunity for blockchain, which is superior technology to the traditional legacy financial rails, to truly, take place and start to support these use cases. And so, I see us all as one team in a way, in terms of disrupting some of the old technology that just isn't meeting the needs of institutions and their customers. In terms of XRPL differentiating, it's battle tested. We've been doing on-chain payments for a decade. The network is highly reliable, it's durable, has not had a hack, is still operating at the highest levels of efficiency from a cost and speed standpoint. And then in terms of use cases, I mean, it's a privilege to have our customers right next door in terms of building payments infrastructure for our payments team, building general blockchain infrastructure for our stablecoin, for our custody team, and now for Hidden Road. So I think bringing all of these pieces together to be able to offer a true, one Ripple solution to real problems in the market, is really what sets us apart from those other chains.
And take notice what she said. The XRP ledger has been battle tested. So even with these new L1s popping up all the time, they're not competition to Ripple. They're not competition to the XRP ledger. You got to remember, Ripple put those rails in place for over a decade now. So all these new L1s popping up, they still got to go out and build out their rails. Or they got to utilize the RippleNet rails or utilize the XRP ledger. Just bring their entire project on board to the XRP ledger. XRP and Ripple have been the future for years. There's no replacing RippleNet and XRP. I think we're going to see a lot of collaboration going forward. I think some of these new cryptocurrencies, they have utility, they have use case, but they're not going to be the XRP of the future. XRP is XRP. You are already invested in the future. And a lot of people are saying this is a top signal. You got to hear this.
Need help.
Okay.
Investing. Don't know what to do, what it is, but I need help. I need help.
Okay, so I would recommend, so me personally, I have 1.3 million in XRP. So right now it's about $2 and something cents, but the community knows that when I know it will bump up to $10, I'm going to be basically set for life. So I would highly recommend buying XRP. Why are you crying?
What the hell did you just say?
XRP. It's.
I couldn't even understand what X could even stand for.
It doesn't stand for anything. It's just like XRP doesn't stand for anything like explicitly. It's just like
I'm screwed. Crypto men come this way. Help me.
Just put money into XRP and then you're set for life.
Put my money in it.
Or just spend it all. Whatever you want to do.
Well, will the IRS come after me if I they won't come after me if I do that?
You haven't paid taxes in 2 years, so they're gonna come after you anyway.
Not if I had my money in this XPR stuff. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So you could look at this in two different ways. First of all, she just told all her millions of followers how to get financial freedom. Either with XRP or what the other girl said, XPR. But people are saying this is a top signal. This is not a top signal. In fact, I think we'll see a lot of new XRP investors because of this clip. But the girl that has over $1 million in XRP at $10, and Alex Cobb thinks it's going to hit $10 by Q4 of this year. I agree. I think we will most likely be in double digits by the end of 2025. And then the major blow off top would happen in 2026. Or we go into a full-blown utility run and XRP runs all throughout next year. But if XRP runs throughout all of next year and we're in a utility run, expect the same for XLM, XDC, and so on. But think about that. She's most likely going to make about $11 million once XRP reaches $10, depending on when she initially put in the $1.3 million investment. Now, if she bought when XRP was at 50 cents, she's going to make a hell of a lot more money. But I look at it like this. It doesn't matter what you invest into this cryptocurrency as long as you have a game plan. You don't need to put $1 million in. Most retail investors, they're investing like $10K into XRP. And most people got to that $10,000 over time. Other people have less, but it doesn't really matter because you are on your way to passive income. You don't even have to sell your XRP. And it's not you buy XRP, wait for the price to run up and sell anymore. Not with Flare opening up passive income. Think about if we went into a bear market right now. There's ways that you could earn off of your XRP. We didn't have that back in 2022, 2023. These options are finally opening up for XRP investors. Or you cash out and invest into something else. You know, there's a lot of different things you could invest in. I always told people, I want to invest. If I'm going to take my money out of crypto, I want to put it into something that is not time consuming. In other words, I want to open up a turnkey business where I only have to show up maybe once or twice a week, not every single day. But everybody's different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. That's why I can never tell you how much XRP you need to be holding. Everybody always says, give it to me straight. How much XRP should I have right now? You go and you look at where this market's going. What are the price predictions out there? Look at the most conservative price predictions, and you could expect at least that much for your XRP. If your lifestyle requires you to have millions of dollars, of course you're going to have to dump a lot more money into XRP. But if you plan on buying a normal house and not a mansion, you don't need as much XRP. And most of us are going to be building more and more wealth over time, especially if you have no plan to sell your XRP. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.